Have you ever heard a man speak and wanted to turn away because his words sounded so absurdly foolish? Not due to misspellings or poor pronunciation, but because they reflect something worse than ignorance, a rigid mind, a frozen spirit, and a soul that refuses to grow. But here's the real danger. You might have said those same things without realizing it. If no one points it out, you'll carry them through life, thinking you're living right, living strong, when you're actually sinking in stagnation. Sounds heavy? Maybe. But if you're brave enough to face the truth, this video is for you. A foolish man isn't the poor one, the uneducated one, or the unsuccessful one. A foolish man is one who thinks he knows enough, has nothing left to learn, and refuses to change. He repeats thoughtless phrases like a broken machine, using them to shield a fragile ego and dodge growth. He doesn't see that these habitual sayings keep him stuck in his career, relationships, and inner life. I'm not making this video to insult anyone. I'm making it to warn you and wake you up. If you see yourself in any of these phrases, you're not alone. But if you recognize it and still refuse to change, that's when you're truly pitiable. This isn't a list to mock others. It's a mirror to reflect on yourself. If you dare face the truth and admit you've been foolish, you're already ahead of 80% of men out there. The fool never admits his folly. The wise man always learns. In this video, I'll cover 7 phrases a foolish man repeats endlessly. Each represents a toxic mindset, a way of shirking responsibility, a weak way of living disguised as character. But beneath each, I'll show you a different path, a way out through clear, strong, stoic thinking. We're not here to vent, we're here to change. If you're ready to dive into dismantling familiar excuses, where normal phrases become traps killing your growth, this is your moment to step up. If this topic feels vital and real, like the video to let me know you're here, to keep sharpening your mind step by step, subscribe, because a man doesn't need to be perfect, just not as foolish as before. Number 1, I know already. Sound familiar? You've likely heard it in a debate, during feedback, or when someone shares advice with good intent. Maybe you've said it yourself, reflexively, without thinking. If so, pause, because I know already is one of the most foolish things a man can say. Not because it's wrong, but because it slams shut the only door to growth. The ability to learn. A foolish man isn't one who hasn't learned, but one who stops learning. He lives with an I know already mindset. I've heard it, everyone knows that. And this blocks new insights. He works but doesn't advance. He loves but lacks depth. He reads but doesn't change. His I know already is an invisible shield, repelling growth. Saying I know already dodges deeper listening, protects a fragile ego, and avoids self-reflection. The more someone says it, the more they're trapped in self-delusion, thinking they're above others when they're actually stuck in complacency. Some believe it signals knowledge. In truth, it's the clearest sign of a closed mind. Recall the last time someone gave you advice about work, health, finances, or relationships. How did you react? Did you listen to learn or snap, I know already? If you truly knew, why are you still stuck? Why do you still react emotionally? Why do others still sway your mood? In Stoic philosophy, a wise person never assumes they know enough. Marcus Aurelius, a mighty emperor, wrote daily journals, questioning himself, reminding himself he could be wrong. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more than we speak." Stoics know understanding comes not from hoarding facts, but from listening and turning insights into action, into real change. I know already often stems from fear of being taught, of seeming lesser, of feeling not good enough. But that fear keeps you from improving. A wise man listens, even to someone younger or less experienced, because knowledge doesn't care about age, looks, or status. It comes to those with humble hearts and open minds. Ask yourself, if you truly know, what are you doing with it? Know how to control emotions but still snap daily? Know effective communication but still hurt loved ones with careless words? Know healthy eating but act invincible to illness? Know saving but spend like tomorrow doesn't exist? Know self-love but live to please others? If your knowledge stays in your head, you don't know anything. A truly wise man doesn't cut others off with, "I know already." He nods, observes, asks, reflects. Sometimes a reminder of something known at the right moment sparks change. Sometimes a new phrasing of an old idea awakens you. Sometimes you think you know but only heard. You haven't lived, felt, or grasped it deeply enough to claim knowledge. You might hear advice from someone you don't respect or deem beneath you, but dismissing them because they're not qualified impoverishes you. Mature men learn from everyone. Fools hear only what's comfortable. Wise men embrace what's uneasy. Knowing truth often stings. I'm not saying accept every piece of advice, but listen with a mind to check yourself. Instead of, "I know already," ask, "Is there truth here? Have I lived this knowledge? Did I miss something?" These questions keep the door to learning open, the clearest sign of a growing mind. A truly strong man dares to see where he's weak. Admitting "I don't know enough" isn't frailty, it's strength. Those who keep learning never stop evolving. If you've reflexively said, "I know already" to advice, podcasts, books, or videos like this, and today you see the need to stop, you've taken a vital step. To defeat foolishness, you don't need to outshine others. You just need to be awake enough to realize you know nothing yet. If this hits a part of you pretending "I'm fine" while knowing you have much to learn, comment, "I know nothing yet." Not to belittle yourself, but to declare you're ready to learn anew. Like this video if you've been trapped by "I know already" and haven't progressed. Subscribe for daily reminders of tough but necessary truths. Because your growth doesn't start with new ideas, but with hearing old ones with a fully open mind. Number 2, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. 4 simple words, seemingly harmless. But look closer. They're often the opening line of someone dodging something: responsibility, maturity, or truth. When a man says, "It's not my fault," he's really saying, "I refuse to take charge of my life." That's a dangerous declaration. Blaming is an easy psychological escape. It's quick, tidy, and lets you feel clean despite the mess. Late because of traffic? Not your fault. Work falls short? Blame the unclear boss. Relationship fails? It's their impatience. But look deeper. You always play a part. Maybe not the whole fault, but always a part. The problem with "it's not my fault" is it severs your agency. By claiming something isn't your doing, you also claim you can't change the outcome. When you dodge responsibility for results, you dodge the power to improve them. That's the fastest way to become a victim, passive in your own life. Stoicism doesn't ask you to take others' blame. It teaches you control your reactions and the responsibility you choose. Epictetus said, "It's not events that distress you, but how you think and react to them." If you live thinking, everything's bad because someone else messed up, you'll forever sit on the sidelines of maturity. Consider a real scenario. A project misses its deadline. The team was inefficient. The client kept changing demands. True, you don't control those, but what do you control? Your time management, your clarity in early communication, your adaptability. A clear-headed man asks, "What could I have done better? What can I improve next time?" A foolish man says, "I told you, it's their fault, not mine." Ironically, blamers think they're protecting themselves. In reality, they're eroding themselves from within. Each blame chips away at your inner control. You tell your brain, "I can't do anything." Repeat it enough, and your brain believes it. You become passive, bitter, resentful, hooked on finding someone to pin it on. In contrast, a mature man owns his part, not because he loves blame, but because he knows owning it lets him fix it. Saying, "I could have done better," means next time you will. Saying, "It's all them," gives you no reason to change, and you'll repeat the same mistakes. Ever met someone with an excuse for everything? Late delivery, slow internet, fights, irrational partner, no success? Others' jealousy. They're trapped in a cycle of justifications, never breaking free. They think they're clever, but they've locked themselves in the "not my fault" box. The longer they stay, the weaker, more vulnerable, and more easily toppled by life they become, lacking the grit to take responsibility. The key question isn't who's right or wrong, it's what can I learn from this? Stoics don't focus on winning or losing, but on growing. If I'm wrong, good, I learn. If I'm not, good, I'll handle similar situations better. In every case, I don't stand there pointing fingers. I'm the ultimate steward of my life, and I live that way daily. If you've fallen into the "not my fault" trap, it's okay. We've all blamed, but if today you see that blaming has weakened you, shrunk you, stalled you, you've opened a vital door. A real man isn't one who's never wrong, but one who says, "I was wrong. I'll fix it." Starting today, when you're tempted to say, "It's not my fault," pause, breathe, ask, "What's my part in this?" Find it, even if small. You're paving the way for a stronger you to emerge. If this hits a truth you need to face, comment, "I own my part." It's not a confession, it's a declaration you're done running. Like this video if you've been stuck in blame and want out. Subscribe for daily practical lessons like this. A man only truly matures when he stops blaming anyone, even fate. Number 3, that's just how I am. That's just how I am, or it's just my nature, seems harmless but is one of the most dangerous phrases for a man's growth. When someone says this, they're really saying, "I don't want to change, and I'll make excuses to avoid it." It's a shield, hiding inflexibility, stubbornness, and a deeper fear of facing oneself. Think about when you've heard this. Maybe you suggested a friend is too hot-headed, and he snaps, "That's just how I am. How can I change?" Or you urge someone to listen more and they shrug, "I've always been like this." What do you see? Not confidence, but surrender. Not honesty, but obstinacy in disguise. Stoics never say, "I am what I am, so I won't change." They know no one is born complete. Every trait, habit, reflex is shaped by time, circumstance, choice, and if formed, it can be reshaped. Marcus Aurelius asked himself daily, "Is anything in me today unvirtuous?" He didn't lean on his emperor status to claim perfection. He constantly examined and refined himself, because only the weak say, "That's just me," while the strong are always becoming. "That's just how I am" reveals a fixed mindset, believing traits are unchangeable. You're either talented or not, patient or not, loving or not. With this view, you'll never strive to improve, convinced that's the kind of person I am. But it's a trap. Neuroscience shows the brain can adapt and grow if you practice and embrace the discomfort of change. Those who say "that's just me" use it to dodge responsibility for their actions. A temperamental man says, "I'm just fiery, always been." He's really saying, "I won't learn to control my emotions." A thoughtless man claims, "I'm not romantic." He means, "I won't practice care or sensitivity." It's easy to say, yet it costs you, keeping you stuck in an outdated self, never breaking through. Stoicism teaches that humans are malleable. No one is born calm, honest, disciplined, or resilient. These come from observing, spotting flaws, and reshaping behavior toward what's better, however uncomfortable at first. Stoics don't live by innate character, but by honed reason. Changing doesn't mean erasing your identity or denying who you are. It's shedding parts that shrink you, weaken you, hurt others, or sabotage your future. Once selfish, you can learn care. Impatient, you can train restraint. Emotion-driven, you can separate feelings from actions. It's possible if you drop the first lock. Stop saying, "That's just me." When tempted to say it, ask, "Is how I'm acting serving the values I aim for?" If not, "That's just me" is an excuse to avoid learning, practicing, growing. But if you live by reason, you don't care about who you've been. You care about, who do I want to be, and does my next action move me closer? Like a tree, if you let it grow freely with the wind, it twists, weakens, falls. But with early shaping toward light, it grows sturdy. Humans are the same. If you drift with my nature, you'll end up not yourself, but a product of habits, circumstances, and fear of change. If this hits a stubborn streak in you, where you cling to "that's me" to avoid transformation, let that phrase go. Don't limit yourself with old labels. Look to what you can become. A strong man isn't unchanging, but constantly chooses what's right, however hard. If you've used "that's just me" to dodge growth, avoid change, or dismiss feedback, and today you resolve to shed that label, comment, "I'm reshaping myself." If this message feels vital for someone else to reflect, share the video. Like it if you commit to never saying, "That's just me" again. Subscribe to join me in peeling away old thinking to build a stronger life. We don't live to stay true to an old self, but to keep upgrading to a better one. Number 4, real men don't talk about feelings. Real men don't talk about feelings. This phrase, repeated across generations like an unquestionable truth, has shaped men to grit their teeth, bury emotions, and equate suppression with strength. But nothing is weaker than a man who can't name his own feelings. If you don't recognize what's driving you inside, you can't control it. And if you can't control it, it will control you. Real men don't talk about feelings epitomizes toxic masculinity, where emotions are deemed weak, useless, or dangerous. But this is a grave misunderstanding. Stoics don't view emotions as enemies. They don't let them steer behavior unconsciously. Epictetus didn't advocate becoming a machine. He taught observing your inner world, distinguishing emotion from reason, and choosing measured responses. A mature man isn't emotionless. He knows when he's angry, understands his sadness's roots, and handles it instead of dumping it on others. The truth is, the more you hide emotions, the more they manipulate you. Men who don't discuss feelings often overreact. They lash out at criticism, seethe with jealousy when control slips, or sink into depression alone, unaware. They think they're in charge, but they're just suppressing. What's suppressed too long explodes, not outward, but within their minds. You can't be strong without sitting down to converse with your inner self. Stoicism isn't about numbness. It's self-mastery through deep self-understanding. Angry, ask, what's sparking this? A real wrong or wounded pride? Sad? Ask, is it abandonment? Or am I living dishonestly with my feelings? Stoics don't dismiss emotions. They navigate them with reason's light. Many men grow up never learning to express emotions clearly. They master math, physics, business, but not how to say, "I'm having a rough day," or "I'm tired and need a break." They think speaking out is weak, but it takes courage to voice what hurts. It takes strength to admit you're grappling with emotions that need addressing. Society holds countless men, grown in age, successful in wealth, imprisoned by unhealed inner wounds. Why? They were never allowed to talk about feelings. They were told, men don't cry. They believe speaking is whining, weakness, or shameful. These beliefs weigh them down with nameless burdens. They don't know how to seek help, apologize from the heart, or love without posturing as the stronger one. If you're a man reading this and it resonates, know this. No one judges you for feeling tired. No one scorns you for saying, "I'm sad today." Instead, it shows you're mature enough to know yourself, strong enough to drop pretense. From there, you build real relationships, without masks, without strain, without lifelong tough guy games. To be a pillar for others, you must first stand firm yourself. No one stands firm carrying silent pain, anger, or trauma for years. Start small, name your emotions, write them down, share with someone trusted. You don't need to complain, just be honest. You'll be amazed how light you feel from one act, admitting, "I'm not okay." Stoicism doesn't urge whining to the world. It demands knowing yourself enough to not be led astray by unresolved emotions. When you know what you feel, you choose right responses. When you know your fears, you dissolve them instead of letting them steer. Only then do you truly master your life from within. If you once thought talking about feelings was weak, rethink it today. Weakness isn't feeling something, it's dodging it. Strength is in silence. It's saying, "I'm working to know myself better." Strength is not hurting others with your pain. Strength is retreating to heal, not to hide. If this offers a new view on emotions and masculinity, comment, "I'm learning to know myself." Nothing's prouder than a man shedding pretense to embrace true growth. If this message needs spreading, like and share it with another man who needs to hear it. Subscribe. Each day, gain a tool to be a man who doesn't posture, but stands firm. Number 5, it is what it is. It is what it is. It sounds grounded, wise even, like you've grasped life's flow and learned to let go. Many use it to signal calm acceptance, as if they've matured past struggle. But often it's not enlightenment. It's surrender, passivity, a way to dodge action, growth, or responsibility. It's like pulling a thin blanket over yourself in a storm, thinking it's enough while chaos rages outside. A truly wise person doesn't say, "It is what it is," to quit. They say it only after exhausting all they can do. A fool uses it early as an excuse to do nothing more. Relationship faltering? Instead of learning to communicate or fix mistakes, they sigh, "We're just not meant to be, it is what it is." Work fails? Instead of examining weaknesses, they shrug. "Guess it's not my thing. That's life." Treated poorly? Instead of setting boundaries, they mutter, "Everyone's got their reasons, oh well." They let life happen without changing, calling it acceptance. Stoicism teaches acceptance, but of what you can't change, so you can pour energy into what you can. Marcus Aurelius didn't urge sitting still while life hits you. He said, "What's yours? Actions, attitude, responses. Do with all your might. What's not, outcomes, others' feelings, chance, let go. But let go after trying, not before." The issue with "it is what it is it's often a justification. It eases guilt for not trying, soothes you for avoiding change, and shields you from the truth that you could have acted differently but didn't. It sounds profound, but it's often just lazy growth. You see it clearest in men who fail and lose faith. A few broken relationships, and they conclude, "Women are just like that." A few bad friends, and it's "everyone's the same." A business loss, and "I'm not cut out for it, that's life." That's not clarity, it's the view of someone hurt who never learned. Instead of rising smarter, they use a deep phrase to bury their drive. True Stoics never settle blindly. They know if you can act, act. If you can change, change. If there's more to do, you're not done. They don't use "it is what it is" as a full stop, but as a comma, a pivot to move forward with new resolve. Things happen you can't reverse, but you choose the next step. They don't drown in resentment or freeze in resignation. In an age where people seek reasons to stop trying, "it is what it is" sounds good from those dodging responsibility. Repeat it enough and you train your brain to reject solutions. You teach yourself, don't hope, don't act, everything's just how it is. Believe that long enough and you live half alive. No pain, no joy, no fight, no progress. Say it is what it is only after exploring every option, saying what needs saying, doing what needs doing, and still facing an unchangeable reality. Then say it with the calm of a fighter, not the coldness of one who gave up. Those are worlds apart, and only you know which side you're on. I'm not saying fix the whole world. Just don't use this phrase as a hideout to avoid action. Don't let it justify staying in toxic relationships, soul-draining jobs, or living below your worth. Life has things you can't control, true, but your reactions, choices, beliefs remain. As long as you can do something, you don't get to say, "it is what it is." If you've used this phrase too soon, too easily, to excuse exhaustion, laziness, or fear, today's the day to shift. Next time you're tempted to say it, ask, what can I still do about it? If nothing's left, you've truly let go. If something remains, you're at a crossroads. Keep trying or abandon yourself. If this sparks awareness of your quick surrenders or passive thinking, comment, what else can I do? That question alone can transform a day. Like this video if you've overused "it is what it is" and now see when it's truly meant. Subscribe for daily, tough, necessary reminders. Sometimes you don't need a reason to let go. You need a reason to stand up and try again. Smarter, clearer, wiser. Number 6, I deserve better. I deserve better. It sounds empowering, even noble, a mantra for rejecting mistreatment in an era of self-respect. But dig deeper, and it's often a subtle mental trap. It masquerades as self-worth, but can breed delusion. It's a clever excuse to demand without proving. When a man says, "I deserve better," he's often saying, "I'm unhappy with what I'm getting, but I'm not willing to change to earn more." This mindset is rampant in modern society, cloaked in self-love, positivity, or personal awakening. Beneath it lies a fragile ego, a lack of self-discipline, and a craving for recognition without responsibility. I deserve a better partner, but can't love deeply. I deserve a better job, but won't hone skills. I deserve respect, but can't control himself. I deserve more, but changes nothing. Stoicism doesn't deny your worth. It grounds it in real foundations, actions, attitudes, character. You don't deserve because you think you do. You deserve when you become the person who fits what you seek. Epictetus said, "Don't wish for what's beyond your reach. Train yourself to match what's higher." Instead of wanting a better partner, become the man a better partner would choose. Instead of griping about your workplace, become so valuable every place wants you. That's rooted self-respect, not empty demands. A foolish man thinks realizing he's undervalued is enough to change his life. He quits a job because they don't appreciate me. He ends a relationship because she's not good enough. He dismisses feedback because I deserve trust up front. But he never asks, what have I done to earn better? How have I shown value? Am I living what I demand? The I deserve mindset easily slides into I'm special. If you think you're special but don't live, contribute, or act specially, you're deluded. You assume you're the center, owed recognition, without earning it. Many men live disappointed, not because they're incapable, but because they demand without grasping. Value isn't claimed. It's created and sustained through action. Do you deserve better? Maybe, but ask. Better based on what? Untapped potential? Hidden qualities? Or just dissatisfaction? If you haven't done the hard work, faced your truths, adjusted your reactions to criticism, or kept promises unseen, Your "I deserve" is a fantasy. Fantasy fuels a slide into delusion without action. In Stoicism, you don't wait for others to deem you deserving. You live so they can't deny it, not through words but through your calm amid chaos, kindness despite ingratitude, diligence without applause, character beyond praise or blame. Live like that, and you won't need to say, "I deserve." Others will see it. Don't confuse knowing your worth with self-delusion. Those who know their value act accordingly. Deluded men talk more than do, demand more than change. That delusion doesn't make you admirable. It makes you prickly, fragile, and increasingly bitter. Next time you're tempted to say, "I deserve better," pause, ask, "Am I living as someone who deserves it?" If not, hush and get to work. Channel energy into self-improvement, not expecting the world to bend. Let your actions prove what you're worth. When you've truly changed, stayed disciplined, acted rightly, you won't need to say, "I deserve." You'll know it and live it, quietly. If this peels back a layer of your illusions, if you've demanded more than you've earned or felt let down without self-reflection, comment, "I earned my worth." Not to self-blame, but to remind yourself, true value doesn't shout. It's built daily through real acts. Like this video if you've lived "I deserve" without matching effort and now see you must change. Subscribe, because forging real worth needs companions reminding you. Demand less, do more. Number 7, that's not my job. That's not my job. It sounds reasonable, even justified sometimes. Everyone has their role, limited time and resources. No one can do everything. But here's the catch. Many use this phrase not to set healthy boundaries, but to retreat from active living. "That's not my job" isn't just a statement. It's the clearest sign of a limited mindset, a passive attitude, a reflex of those content with the bare minimum, never stepping beyond their self-imposed box. This phrase often stems from a desire to avoid conflict, difficulty, judgment, or responsibility for imperfect outcomes. It's a fence to stay safe, to not venture beyond the familiar, to dodge tasks untested. But growth doesn't come from safety. Value isn't born in comfort zones. Opportunities lie outside the confines of my job. A mature man doesn't say, "That's not my job," when faced with something inconvenient or beyond his role's description. He asks, "Does this need doing? If I can do it, why not?" Proactive thinking separates the ordinary from the invaluable. Those who only do what's assigned are replaceable. Those who see what's needed and act are indispensable. Stoicism doesn't urge you to take on the world's burdens. It teaches clear boundaries to avoid exploitation. But it also demands you embrace greater responsibility if you want real influence. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, wrote in his journal about small ways to improve, moments to react better. He didn't say, "I'm emperor, delegate this." He took ultimate responsibility, knowing leadership isn't a title, it's action. Many men are trapped in a good enough life. They finish contracted tasks, then wait for pay. They clean their share at home, then scroll phones, ignoring the rest. They hear a partner's exhaustion but don't probe deeper, thinking, "I'm not a therapist." They see a friend struggling but don't reach out, reasoning, "I'm not family." These reflexes sideline them from what matters. When they're replaced, overlooked, or blamed, they protest, "I didn't do anything wrong." The issue isn't wrongdoing, it's lack of initiative. In many cases, not stepping up is a form of irresponsibility. No one asks you to do it all, but if you see something worth doing, can do it, and still turn away, you've missed a chance to grow. Stoicism doesn't demand you carry the world, but requires discernment. When are you guarding boundaries and when are you dodging duty? A mature man steps up unasked. He tackles the hard task without awaiting praise. He owns mistakes to fix them, even if not fully his. He seeks solutions instead of waiting for others. Such men are hard to replace. In any field, if you go beyond your job description, you're kept, trusted, given bigger roles. Not because you're better, but because you dare more. Many live as just a cog, but it's not about position, it's how you live within it. A proactive janitor can create joy for thousands. A mindful barista can draw customers back, not just for coffee, but for his energy. Any job becomes big with a big vision. Every role shrinks if you live by, not my job. If you've shirked tasks outside your assigned role, ignored chances to help to stay uninvolved, or lived minimally without asking, what more can I do? It's time to rethink. Not, is this my job, but is this worth doing? Change the question and you change your role. You're no longer a doer, you're a creator. To live as a mature man, know this. You can't grow dodging responsibility. You can't mature staying within assigned limits. You can't wield influence without tackling the hard, unclaimed tasks because they're right. If this hits where you've retreated with not my part, turned away with not my problem, or stood back with someone else will handle it, choose differently today. If you're ready to live by a higher standard, doing what's needed, unasked, comment, I will step up. Like this video if you've lived minimally and now want depth. Subscribe, because the strongest men don't need directions. They choose their path, embrace the hard, and grow where it counts. If you've watched this far, you're likely like me, done with a life driven by mindless phrases, done with being a stale shadow of yourself, repeating hollow excuses to dodge responsibility. You know as I do that phrases like, I know already, it's not my fault, that's just how I am, I deserve better, or that's not my job sound reasonable, but unchecked, they strangle growth, stifle will, and kill the strongest part of a man, the part that dares to own and change. A real man isn't defined by muscles or money, but by his mind and reactions when life goes awry. A man of substance doesn't wave flags, shout loud, or demand. He quietly does his part, tackles the hard stuff, fixes mistakes, rises after falls, takes responsibility silently, and moves forward without whining. He doesn't say, I deserve. He lives so others must acknowledge. He doesn't say, that's me. He evolves to be better. He doesn't say, I know. He asks, what don't I know? If you see yourself in these 7 phrases, don't feel ashamed. We've all been foolish. The pitiable man isn't the one who was foolish, but the one who sees it and won't change. If today you've spotted something in yourself to shift, you've already taken a huge step. If you're committed to a clearer, stronger, more accountable life, this isn't the end. It's your start. Comment, I will live differently. No need for long words. That sentence marks the beginning of a new you. Like this video if it taught you something that hit deep. Share it with another man who needs to reflect. Most importantly, subscribe. I won't promise every video will be easy, but I promise each will push you to live less foolishly than yesterday and live as a truly awake man.